If we were to put together a bullet point list of things we would want to read when we're not having a good day and when we're struggling, most of those things on that list could be found in the chapter we are about to read. This chapter, it's Doctrine and Covenants 38. It is action-packed with one-liners that will just, they're the type of one-liners that you can cling to when you are struggling and when things are dark and things are confusing and things are complicated. So it is a little bit of a chapter. We have 42 verses, but like I said, a lot of these verses, most of these verses are one-liners that you could write down on a lined piece of paper and read down and be like, this is what I needed to be reminded of. This is what I needed to hear for now or sometime in the future. So these are like 42 really good verses. I will do context after we read. And before we even do context, I decided I'm going to make this chapter about you first. Usually I do that second, but not today, folks, not today. This is Doctrine and Covenants 38. The occasion of this revelation is the conference of the church. So, that's all I'm going to say. All right, are you ready? This is so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. We'll read, then I'm going to make it 100% about you. It's going to be so good. Thus saith the Lord your God, even Jesus Christ, the great I am, Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the same which looked upon the wide expanse of eternity, and all the seraphic hosts of heaven before the world was made, the same which knoweth all things, for all things are present before mine eyes. I just love that. All things are present before his eyes. I am the same which spake the world was made, and all things came by me, even you. I am the same which have taken the Zion of Enoch into my own bosom, and verily I say, even as many has believed in my name, for I am Christ. And in my own name and the virtue of the blood which I have spilt, have I pleaded the Father for them. This visual. But behold, the residue of the wicked have I kept in chains of darkness. Can I say that again? What? The residue of wicked have I kept in chains of darkness until the judgment of the great day which shall come at the end of this earth. And even so will I cause the wicked to be kept, and will not hear my voice, but harden their hearts. And woe, woe, woe is their doom. And behold, verily, verily, I say unto you that mine eyes are upon you. I am in your midst, and ye cannot see me. But the day soon cometh that ye shall see me. Ye shall see me. Know that I am. For the veil of darkness shall soon be rent, and he that is not purified shall not abide the day. Wherefore, gird up your loins, be prepared, because the kingdom is yours. The enemy shall not overcome. Verily I say unto you, ye are clean, but not all. There is none else whom I am well pleased, for flesh is corrupted before me, and the powers of darkness prevail upon the earth, among the children of men, and in the presence of all hosts of heaven, which causeth silence to reign, and all eternity is pained, and the angels are waiting the great command to reap down the earth, to gather the tars that they may be burned, and behold, the enemy is combined. And now I show unto you a mystery, a thing which is in the secret chambers, to bring to pass even your destruction in process of time, and ye knew it not. And now I tell it unto you, and ye are blessed, not because of your iniquity, neither of your hearts of unbelief, for verily some of you are guilty before me. But I will. Let's see how many times we can hear him say, I will, and I am, and I shall. I will be merciful unto your weakness. Therefore, be ye strong from henceforth. Fear not, for the kingdom is yours. That is the second time he is telling you. This isn't to one specific person. This is to a conference. This is to everyone, the multitudes, that the kingdom of heaven, it's yours. And he wants you to know it more than once to make sure that you understand that and you're listening and you know it. And for your salvation, I give unto you a commandment. I have heard your prayers. I have heard your prayers. And the poor have complained before me, and the rich have I made, and all flesh is mine. And I am no respecter of persons. Such a powerful thing. I hope that we all can deeply know to understand, because that is a life-changing reality to know. A no respecter of persons. And I have made the earth rich, and behold, it is my footstool. Wherefore again I will stand upon it. And I hold forth and deign to give unto you greater riches. Give unto you greater riches. Even a land of promise, a land of flowing with milk and honey, upon there shall be no curse when the Lord cometh. And I will give it unto you for the land of your inheritance, if you seek it with all your heart. You can have it. It's yours if you want it, is what he's saying. And this shall be my covenant with you, and shall have it for the land of your inheritance, and for the inheritance of your children forever, while the earth shall stand. And ye shall possess it again in eternity, no more to pass away. But verily I say unto you, that in time ye shall have no king nor ruler, for I will be your king, and I'll watch over you. I am your king. I will watch over you. Wherefore, hear my voice. Follow me, and you shall be a free people. And you shall have no laws but my laws when I come. For I am your lawgiver, and what can stay my hand? But verily I say unto you, teach one another according to the office wherewith I have appointed you. And let every man esteem his brother as himself. Practice virtue and holiness before me. And again I say unto you, let every man esteem his brother as himself. For what man among you, having 12 sons, and is no respecter of them, and they serve him obediently? And he saith unto the one, be thou clothed in robes, sit thou here, and to the other, be thou clothed in rags, and sit thou there, and looketh upon his sons, and saith, I am just? Behold, this I have given unto you as a parable, and it is even as I am. And I say unto you, be one. And if you are not one, you are not mine. And again I say unto you, that the enemy in the secret chamber seeketh your lives. Ye hear of wars in far countries, and you say that there will soon be great wars in far countries, but ye know not the hearts of men in your own land. I tell you these things because of your prayers. Wherefore treasure up wisdom in your bosoms, lest the wicked of men reveal these things unto you by their wickedness, in a manner which shall speak in your ears with a voice louder than that which shall shake the earth. But if you are prepared, ye shall not fear. And that ye may escape the power of the enemy. Escape the power of the enemy. Be gathered unto me a righteous people, without spot and blameless. Wherefore for this cause I give unto you a commandment, that ye shall go to the Ohio. Could you imagine? No, I'm going to come back to that. And there I will give unto you my law, and there you shall be endowed with power from on high. And from thence, whosoever I will shall go forth among all nations, and it shall be told them what they shall do. For I have a great work laid up in store. For Israel shall be saved I will lead them whithersoever I will, and no power shall stay my hand. And now I give unto the church in these parts a commandment, that certain men among them shall be appointed, and they shall be appointed by the voice of the church. They shall look to the poor and the needy, and administer to the relief, that they shall not suffer, and send them forth to the place which I have commanded them. And this shall be their work, to govern the affairs and the property of this church. They that have farms that cannot be sold, let them be left or rented as seemeth them good. See that all things are preserved. So they're telling them to leave New York. You have to leave your home. You have to leave your farms. You have to leave your lifestyle, what gives you income. And so now they're explaining, well, what do I do? What do I do with my farm? Well, you sell them. If you can't sell them, just leave them. Leave them behind. Could you imagine? Just leave it there. Are you joking? That all things are preserved from when men are endowed with power from on high and sent forth. All these things shall be gathered unto the bosom of the church. And if you seek riches, which it is the will of the Father to give unto you, you shall be the richest of all people. For ye shall have the riches of eternity. And it must needs be that the riches of the earth are mine to give. But beware of pride, lest you become as the Nephites of old. Now, if you were with me when we read the Book of Mormon, the Nephites struggled the most, like 90% of the time. So are we safe simply because we're members? No, that is a hard no. And again, I say unto you, I give unto you a commandment, that every man, both elder, priest, teacher, and also member, go to with his might, with the labor of his hands, to prepare and accomplish that which, the things which I have commanded, and let your preaching be the warning voice, every man to his neighbor, in mildness, in meekness. Go ye out from among the wicked, save yourselves, be ye clean that bear the vessels of the Lord, even so, amen. There is so many things that we talked about in here, but we're not really going to talk about them. We're going to talk about you. I mean, we talked about the last days. We talked a little bit about the millennium. We talked about huge revelation that the saints just heard that literally just threw their entire lives upside down. And we're just going to forget all of that for a second. And we're going to talk about you, because it always is. Now, according to my DMs, this is your favorite part. Most of you. Some of you. So let's do this first. If I were, of course, to open up randomly to this section, if I just one day opened up and I came to this section 38 and I needed counsel in that moment, how can I look down at my notes and my underlines and get this, what my soul needs in that moment without knowing the history and the context behind the story or whatever is being said? Here is how I marked my scriptures for it to mean something to me. Now, as we just read this together, you're going to notice that some of these underlines are in mid-sentence, which takes it a little bit out of context. I don't care. I don't care. So let me read it to you with my underlines. And see if you can't see yourself in a spot to want to hear these things yourself from Jesus Christ himself. Are you ready? Obviously, you know, one of my favorite things is your God, not a God or some God or the God, your God. So I always circle your God, Jesus Christ, I am, knoweth all things are present before mine eyes. All things came by me. I am Christ. Blood which I have spilt have pleaded before the Father. Mine eyes are upon you. I am in your midst, and ye cannot see me. Know that I am. for the veil of darkness shall soon be rent. Be prepared. The kingdom is yours. I will be merciful unto your weakness. Be ye strong. Fear not. The kingdom is yours. I have heard your prayers. All flesh is mine. I am no respecter of persons. I give unto you greater riches. I will, if you seek it with all your hearts. I will be your king and watch over you. Hear my voice. Follow me, and you shall be free. Serve him obediently. Be one. The enemy in the secret chamber seeketh your lives. I tell you these things because of your prayers. Treasure up wisdom. If you are prepared, you shall not fear. Go to Ohio. I'll tell you why I circled that one. You shall be endowed with power from on high. I will. I have a great work laid up in store. I will lead them whithersoever I will. Ye shall have the riches of eternity. Beware of pride. Go to with your might. Prepare and accomplish. Go ye out from among the wicked. Be ye clean that bear the vessels of the Lord. You can kind of see that you don't know what's going on in the chapter when you do that. But does it matter when it comes to you and your life? No. No, who cares? Now, can we get even more when we do learn and study the context? Yeah, 100%, 1,000%, as we've seen this, we're on chapter 38, and how many of us are like, oh my gosh, the context made that more applicable to me. So, some of the context, this is, is it the first conference? I think so, maybe. But it's a conference to the church. Now, the chapter we read right before it, those 4 verses, if you did not watch yesterday's quick 4 verses, you should go back and watch that video, because there were some really amazing questions that I think everyone should take the time to think about and maybe even ask God about, because that's when they heard in a very small group, like 2 people, that they needed to go to Ohio. And then that was it. They got 4 verses, and you're like, wait, could you imagine if that was them? Ohio? Why? When? What are we going to do there? I have so many questions. You can't just mention casually Ohio and then like, that's it. Bye. So now we're hearing about Ohio. The whole church is in New York that's at this conference about Ohio. And like I said, this is like turning people's lives upside down. Oh yeah, you know, your farm, your home, your family, everything that brings money and income and community and happiness and comfort, leave it. Could you imagine hearing that? If we just turn on General Conference and they're like, hey, you need to move to a different state. Just leave your house. You'd be like, are you serious? So undoubtedly there were people that questioned Joseph and is this even revelation? Did everyone listen to that? No, of course they didn't. Did people not want to listen to it and struggle with it but tried to follow it anyways? Yeah, of course. Now, Ohio, as we talked about yesterday in better detail, the church is thriving as far as numbers were concerned. And the opposition in New York was getting increasingly bad. What they didn't know is that once they would get there, that they would receive revelation to build a temple and to be able to participate in soul-saving ordinances that do not exist currently. So is this great sacrifice going to be magnified? Yeah, of course. That's actually the template of God himself with anything he asks us to do, especially if it's a really hard sacrifice. If he asks us to do anything, it's because somewhere down the line will be a bigger magnification of better things and better blessings. Now, is Ohio hip and happening right now and things are going really well? No, actually, because there's no leadership in Ohio. So it's like you just freshly get baptized, and then like those missionaries like Parley, they left. They're not there. So it's just a bunch of recent converts that just stepped out of the waters of baptism, and they don't know how to run a church. And so you have all these recent converts, like hundreds of them, and things were getting crazy over there. These members of the church who are really just guessing, they don't know, no one's there. They're actually acting in very odd. There are lots of false spirits, false revelations, but really just people are acting like possessed even, and claiming that it's just how it all works now because no one told them otherwise. And so the adversary really took advantage of their ignorance to do just bizarre, inaccurate things. And so Joseph, being among all of the saints, went. And the biggest item that needed to be addressed immediately is teaching them the right order of, well, how you act, how to receive, what is real, what isn't, what is the adversary, what isn't. Right now, even, that's probably one of the greatest tools that we need to be taught and to learn is it the spirit, is it the adversary? This is the biggest priority right now. I think it's in like, oh my gosh, we're going to come back to this in like D&C 50, where, you know, you receive revelation, he receives revelation, and he's just like, no, false spirits. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the difference between God and the adversary, and here's the right way of doing things. So they're hearing about Ohio for the first time, and God, what we just read, is saying, here is wisdom. Does it seem like wisdom to a lot of people in the moment? Well, maybe not. But he's saying, I know I'm asking a lot of you. Maybe you can see yourself in this potentially worded statement. I know I'm asking a lot of you. But if you are prepared, if you are trying, you shouldn't fear. Do not be afraid, because I am with you, even though you can't see me. I'm behind this, which means I will lead you to what's there. I am there with you now, and I will be there when in your motions, in your actions. If God himself is with you, don't fear. It is like, remember whose hands you're in. The hands that you're in are capable hands. They are creating hands, and they are perfect hands. So they talk about, why do we need to go to Ohio? And in like the verses 32, 33, 34, it's, well, you need to go to escape, you need to go to gather, and you need to go to receive. And could that template be fitted to what God is asking us in a personal way, in our own personal life? Yeah, probably. If he is asking some redirection and course changes, it could be to escape. It could be to gather. But 100% of the time, it will be to receive. When we were houseless, I like saying houseless more than homeless, because we did have somewhere to go. It just was, a hotel for 35 days. All of us in a single hotel room, and I have gone through really hard things in my life, but that was probably one of the worst things I've ever been through. And I remember lying on the hotel floor screaming at God in front of my kids, because we were all in the same room. They had to be there for me screaming at God, and I was just telling him, weeks and weeks were passing. And it just got to a point where it's just like, I can't. I got nothing left to give. all we have are dead ends, and I'm just running thin, you know? And do you know what God spoke to me? And I hear this phrase often ringing in my ears, but also it could apply to this chapter, and it 100% is going to apply to you in everything that God asks of us. And he said to me, while we are houseless, homeless, for weeks and weeks with no end in sight, and I hear him say, why won't you let me bless you? You believe that? God is saying that to me when we don't have a home to live in. And that to me is the theme of God. That to me is his whole purpose for us. Why won't you let me take you somewhere better? And so if that is the theme of God, then I think of this in, well, obviously to Ohio, when you're like, what? Why are you, I can't do this. I can't, do you know the what you're asking of me and everything it will affect? And how many times we say this and we think about this like, wait, what? I can't do that. Do you know everything that it's going to affect and everything that it's going to change? And I just always hear him saying to me now, ever since that time, why won't you let me bless you? And when I hear that phrase and the reality behind it, I absolutely think of so many of the verses in here saying, do not be afraid. It is in wisdom. I am here in your midst with you, even though you can't see me. I am bringing you to those greater things. I will endow you from on high. The kingdom, it's yours. So everything else, it is just noise, you know? And so we went a little bit, you know, we had a little bit of time together tonight with these 42 verses, but I'm glad you're here to the end, because to me, the real message is the reality of God being ours. And his whole purpose is to bring us to the best things. That everything going on, he knows all of that, and he created all of that. He's part of all of that. And it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. It's all noise when it comes to the reality of him in our lives and what we are going to receive in return. So is D&C 38 a really good go-to chapter when we need a little bit of a refocus? Absolutely. Yeah. Should you go down and mark in your scripture and underlining these out of context phrases to help your soul in the future? Yeah, absolutely. Is it worth your while to go in and to study more about Ohio and know more about the history and context than I even told you? Yeah, absolutely. But I think we're at a good start. If you are rewatching this video when I repost it on YouTube or Facebook, I do these live readings every single night on Instagram, and then I repost them on YouTube, read with _Al. And usually I just sign off right now, but I'm actually not going to. I'm just gonna scroll and read your comments, because every time I end my video, I'm like, I wish I knew what everyone said. I don't ever get to read them because I'm yapping. So you can sign off. This is it. We're done. I would love for you to come back and comment on this video once it's posted on my page, what you loved, what you stood out, what you realized, what you learned. Or DM me so I can re-share it, because I learn from you guys. Really, it's just people joining. Not too many comments. Okay. I'm glad I didn't miss anything. Okay, see you tomorrow. We got a shorter chapter tomorrow, do we? I actually have no idea what we're reading tomorrow, but it's gonna be great anyways.